Hello, my name is Keith Mills and welcome to my first video looking at Eurovision's greatest hits. As you watch some of the host cities that have staged the contest over the years, let me tell you that this is the first in a series of 7 videos where I will count down the biggest hits that the Eurovision Song Contest has produced in its 60-year history. As a lifelong Eurovision fan who first tuned in back in the 1960s, and one of the first people to live blog the contest back in 1997, I've looked back over the songs that competed in Europe's most successful music competition since the very first contest back in 1956. I've looked at how the songs have done both in the contest and how they did in the national music charts, and also what legacy they have created. In the second video, I'll go into more detail of exactly how I compiled the list, but I've looked at over 1,500 songs, including cover versions and different language recordings of the songs, before compiling this list. One challenge I faced was how many songs to include in these videos, and to celebrate 60 years of the contest, I decided to focus on the top 60 hits. But that would exclude some terrific Eurovision entries. So in this video, I look at the songs that just missed out in positions 100 to number 61. So, let the countdown begin. At the turn of the century, Eurovision produced several surprise winners, such as Estonia in 2001, but apart from Sweden, everybody failed to become a chart hit. Carina finished second in the first contest staged in Dublin in 1971. The song became a big hit in Spain, and a movie was made of her Eurovision experience. The Russian Grannies lost out to Sweden in 2012, but still managed to grab international attention and over 24 million YouTube views. Isabelle Aubray was one of France's biggest stars of the 1960s, and after winning in 1962, she returned to Eurovision in 1968, but lost out to Spain's La La La. One of the 4 winners in 1969, Maciel's Vivo Cantando, was the first time a country won back-to-back contests. Lane Moya won the first ever Eurovision semi-final back in 2004, but in the final, the Serbian entry lost out to Ukraine's Wild Dances. Best remembered for Volare in 1958, Domenico Badungo returned to Eurovision a year later and finished third with Ciao Ciao Bambina, which also became an international hit. After 6 failures in Swedish selections, Sanna Nielsen finally got to Eurovision in 2014 and finished third with Undo, which reached the top 40 in 10 countries. Having had a couple of major international hits, Tattoo were the hot favourites to win in Riga, but only finished third on the night. Despite finishing third to ABBA in Brighton, I See a Star reached the top 10 in 5 countries and went to number 1 in Ireland. That's the first 10 positions revealed. Let's see if there's an Irish entry in the next 10. After finishing second to Lordi in 2006, Dima Bilan returned to Eurovision 2 years later and won in Belgrade, but Believe failed to be a major international hit. The most recent of Ireland's 7 contest winners, The Voice, gave songwriter Brendan Graham his second victory after Rock and Roll Kids 2 years earlier. Popular came third behind Azerbaijan in Dusseldorf and topped the Swedish singles chart. In 1957, Netal's Tone became the second Eurovision winner, and Corrie Brocken returned to the contest in 1976, presenting the show in The Hague. The Rhythm Inside finished 4th in Vienna in 2015, but reached the top 40 in 10 countries and topped the Belgian charts. Despite only finishing 6th in The Hague in 1980, Non Succederai became a massive number 1 hit in Italy and also reached the top 5 in Norway, Sweden and Switzerland. After finishing 3rd in Moscow, Always became an airplay hit in Europe and went top 5 in Greece and Sweden, clocking up almost 40 million YouTube views. Yugoslavia's only Eurovision victory, before it disbanded in 1991, was a surprise winner and went on to be the country's big summer hit of 1989. Winning in the Mill Street contest in dramatic style in 1993, In Your Eyes became the biggest selling single of the year in Ireland. N'avons jamais, Never Admit, sung by Algerian-born Guy Mardel, finished third in Naples, but topped the charts in both France and Belgium. That's 20 down, 20 more to go in this video, and we still haven't found an entry from the UK. Shake It topped the Greek charts after coming third in Istanbul. Sakis Rouvas returned to Eurovision in 2009, finishing 7th in Moscow. Dum Tek Tek finished 4th in Moscow and went on to top the charts in Turkey and Belgium and became a European summer radio hit. Starting out as Cliff Richard's backing group, The Shadows scored several huge hits in the 1960s. They finished 2nd at Eurovision behind Ding a Dong. Sipan Mai was the favourite to win the 1995 contest, but the big Swedish hit ended up finishing 3rd behind neighbours Norway. Natasha Saint-Pierre brought the traditional chanson back to Eurovision in 2001, finishing 4th, and reached number 2 in the French and Belgian charts. Also from 2001, Antique finished 3rd for Greece in Copenhagen. Lead singer Helena Paparizou returned to Eurovision in 2005, winning in Kiev. The United Kingdom has finished as runner-up in 15 Eurovision Song Contests, most recently on home soil in Birmingham in 1998. After finishing 2nd to Italy in Zagreb, White and Black Blues spent 6 months on the French charts, reaching number 2. Is It True finished 2nd in Moscow and reached the top 5 in Finland, Norway and Sweden, making it Iceland's biggest Eurovision hit. While Arpagamos may have only finished 4th in Rome, but it became a huge hit in Spain and Latin America and launched the career of singer Sergio Dalma. Only 10 more songs to go in this video. Let's see the hits that just missed out on the top 60. Despite finishing 2nd to Serbia in Helsinki, Ukraine's entry Dancing Lasha Tumbai became the much bigger hit, reaching the top 10 in France, Sweden and Finland. German group Wind competed in 3 contests. In 1987 they finished 2nd to Johnny Logan and reached the charts in Germany, Austria and Belgium. The Sanremo Festival winner Al Di La reached the Italian top 20 by 3 different singers and also went top 10 in the USA, but only finished 5th at Eurovision. Lithuanian-born Lena Valaitis finished as runner-up to Bucks Fizz in Dublin, and her song Johnny Blue reached the top 20 in 5 countries, including Ireland. Rock and Roll Kids gave Ireland a record-breaking 3 wins in a row, but outside Ireland the song failed to make a major impact in the charts. Carola won the 1991 contest after a tie-break with France. She had previously competed in 1983 and would return for a 3rd time in 2006. Poland's debut entry is still their most successful, finishing runner-up to Ireland in 1994. Edita Gorniak would go on to be one of Poland's biggest stars. Husband and wife team Greta and Jörgen Lindman became the first Eurovision winners from the Nordic bloc, and so far the only jazz winner. The runner-up in 2015 became a top 40 hit in 7 countries, and Paulina Gagarina topped the Russian charts. Although they weren't related, vocal duo The Allisons were considered to be the British version of the American Everly Brothers, and finished 2nd at Eurovision. That completes the bottom 40 positions in Eurovision's greatest hits, and already you can see the variety of music that the contest has produced over the last 60 years. In the next video, I'll count down the songs from numbers 60 to 51, and I'll also go into more detail on how I've compiled the chart. So please join me then.